Alright, now we're going to be factoring, which is the opposite of distributing. We're going to be factoring using, this means greatest common factor. So we're doing the reverse of distributing. Distributing was multiplying, so now factoring is dividing something out. When we factor, we are dividing out, because when we distributed, we were multiplying. If you look at 12D4, it says to factor using the greatest common factor. So when we factor something out, we're dividing something out. So usually you look at your numbers first, 10 and 25. What is the most you can divide out of 10 and 25, the highest number? It is 5. That would be the highest. And so I recommend writing this little division thing in your book right under those numbers to remind yourself you're dividing 5 out. Whatever you divide out, you will write in front, because we're going to make this look like what distributing looked like. So here we had 2 times x plus y. You had a number in front and then you had parentheses. That's what our answer is going to look like now. Okay? So whatever you divide out, that you need to write in front, and then you're going to write what is left over in parentheses. So up here, 10 divided by 5 is 2, and you still have the x. Nothing happened to the x. Now, view this as a negative 25. A negative 25 divided by a positive 5. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. And 25 divided by 5 is 5, and then you still have the y. Here, I'm just dividing the numbers, and I still have the letter. So, do you see how now this is the reverse of distributing, because now this looks like a distributing problem. If you were to go back and distribute this, you should get what you started with up here. 5 times 2, 10x. 5 times a negative 5y, negative 25y. So you can always go backwards and check yourself to make sure you factored right. But this is the factored answer once we pull a 5 or divide a 5 out of each term. Now looking at 12C number 10, again, you're looking at your numbers. 5x minus 5. Look at the numbers first. What is the most you can divide out of 5 and 5? Yes, 5. Okay, so whatever you divide out, you write in front, and then you write what is left over in parentheses after you divide. 5 divided by 5, 1, and you still have the x, 1x. You don't have to write the 1, you can just write x. A negative 5 divided by a positive 5, a negative divided by a positive is a negative, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. The common mistake here is to put 0, nothing. That's not true. 5 divided by 5 is not nothing. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Anything divided by itself is 1, because if I went back and distributed, I would get what I start with up here. So you can always check yourself by distributing. Looking at 12D6, if you look at your numbers, 3 and 4, can you divide anything out of 3 and 4? No. You have to be able to divide the same number out of both. I can divide 3 by 3, but I can't do 4 divided by 3, and vice versa. I can do 4 divided by 4, but I can't do 3 divided by 4. So the next thing you look at is your letters. So look, they both have an x in them, which means I can divide both of these by an x. So you always write what you're dividing out in front, and then write what is left over in parentheses. Well, what is x divided by x? It is a 1. It's like these x's cancel. That'd be like saying 3 times 1 times y. Well, 3 times 1 is just 3, so you don't have to write the 1. Those x's cancel, and you're left with 3y. A positive divided by a positive is a positive. These x's cancel because x divided by x is 1. And so it'd be like 4 times 1, which is 4, and then z. A good habit to get into is to write lines in your z's so your z's don't look like a 2. And that would be the factored answer for that one.